Aviao reached for the upper horizontal log, which served as the edge of the head-height threshold. Clinging to the log, he lifted himself with one bound that carried him across to the narrow door. He slid back the cover, stepped inside, then pushed the cover back in place. After some moments during which he seemed to wait, he talked to the listening darkness.
I'm sorry, this had to be done. I am really sorry, but neither of us can have it. Why don't you go out and join the dancing woman?
The sound of the gangsters beat through the walls of the dark house like muffled roars of falling waters. The woman who had moved with a start when the sliding door opened had been hearing the gangsters for she didn't know how long. There was a sudden rush of fire in her. She gave no sign that she heard Abiyaw, but continued to sit unmoving in the darkness. But Abiyaw knew that she heard him, and his heart beat her. He crawled on all fours to the middle of the room. He knew exactly where the stove was. With bare fingers, he stirred the covered smoldering embers and blew into the stove. When the coals began to glow, Abiyaw put pieces of pine on them, then full round logs as his arms. The room brightened.
As if nothing happened, go out and dance. If you really don't hate me for the separation, go out and dance. One of the men will you see dance well. He will like your dancing. He will marry you. Who knows but that, with him, you will be the luckier than you are with me.
He looked at the woman huddled in the corner of the room, leaning against the wall. The stove fire played with strange moving shadows and lights upon her face. She was partly sullen, but her sullenness was not because of anger or hate.
I don't want any man. I don't want any other man.
You know very well that I won't want any other woman either. You know that, don't you, Lumnay? You know it, don't you? You know it, Lumnay, don't you?
Yes, I know.
It's not my fault. You cannot blame me. I have been a good husband to you.
Neither can you blame me.
No, you have been very good to me. You have been a good wife. I have nothing to say against you. It's only that a man must have a child. 7 harvests is just too long to wait. Yes, we have waited too long. We should have another chance before it is too late for both of us.
This time, the woman stirred, stretched her right leg out, and bent her left leg in. She wound the blanket more snugly around herself.
You know that I have done my best. I have prayed to Kabunyan much. I have sacrificed many chickens in my prayers. You remember how angry you were once when you come home from your work in the terrace because I butchered one of our pigs without your permission? I did it to appease Kabunyan because like you, I want to have a child. But what can I do?
Kabunyan does not see fit for us to have a child.
He stirred the fire. The spark rose through the crackles of the flames. The smoke and soot went up the ceiling.
Lumnay looked down and unconsciously started to pull at the rattan that kept the split bamboo flooring in place. She tugged at the rattan flooring. Each time she did this, the split bamboo went up and came down with a slight cracking. The gong of the dancer clamorously called in her prayer through the walls. Awea went to the corner where Lumnay sat, posed before her, looked at her bronze and starred piece, then turned toward the jars of water, stood, peered one over the other. Awea took a coconut cap and dipped it in the top jar and drank. Lumnay had filled the jars from the mountain quick early that evening.
I came home because I did not find you among the dancers. Of course, I am not forcing you to come. If you don't want to join my wedding ceremony, I came to tell you that Madulimay, although I am marrying her, can never become as good as you are. She is not as strong in planting beans, not as fast in cleaning water jars, not as good keeping a house clean. You are one of the best wives in the whole village.
That has not done me any good, has it?
He put the coconut cap aside on the floor and came closer to her. He held her face between his hand and looked longingly at her beauty. But her eyes looked away. Never again would he hold her face. The next day she would not be his anymore. She would go back to her parents. He let go of her face, and she bent to the floor again and looked at her fingers as they tugged softly in the split bamboo floor.
This house is yours. I built it for you. Make it your own. Live in it as long as you wish. I will build another house for Madulimay.
I have no need for a house. I'll go to my own house. My parents are old. They will need help in the planting of the beans, in the pounding of the rice.
I will give you the field that I dug out of the mountains during the first year of our marriage. You know I did it for you. You helped me to make it for the two of us.
I have no use for any field.
Go back to the dance. It is not right for you to be here. They will wonder where you are, and Madulimay will not feel good. Go back to the dance. I would feel better if could come and dance for the last time. The gangs are playing.
You know that I cannot.
Dumnay, if I did this, it is because of my need for a child. You know that life is not worth living without a child. The man have mocked me behind my back. You know that.
I know it, and I will pray that Kapunyan will bless you in Madulimay.
She bit her lips now, then shook her head widely and sobbed. Had passed the high hopes they had in the beginning of their new life. The day he took her away from her parents across the roaring river. On the other side of the mountain, they drifted out the trail which they had to climb, the steep canyon which they had to cross. The waters boiled in her mind in forms of white and jade and roaring silver. The waters tolled and groaned, resounded in the thunderous echoes through the walls of the steep cliffs. They were far away from now, somewhere on the tops of the other range, and they had looked carefully at the buttresses of rocks they had to step on, as sleep would have meant death.
Awayawo, my husband. I did everything to have a child. I don't care about the fields. I don't care about the house. I don't care for anything but you. I have no other man.
Dumnay, if I did this, it is because of my need for a child. You know that life is not worth living without a child. The man have mocked me behind my back. You know that. If I fail, I come back to you. Then both of us will die together. Both of us will vanish from the life of our tribe.
I'll keep my beads. Awayawo, let me keep my beads. I keep them because they stand for the love you have for me. I love you, and have nothing to give. Awayawo, they are looking for you in the dance.
I am not in hurry.
The elders will scold you. You had better go.
Not until you tell me that is all right with you.
It's all right with me.
Nai sat for some time in the darkness. Then she went to the door and opened it. The moonlight struck her face. The moonlight spilled itself on the whole village.
She could hear the throbbing of the gangsas coming to her through the caverns of the other houses. She knew that all the houses were empty, that the whole tribe was at the dance. Only she was absent. And yet, was she not the best dancer of the village? Did she not have the most lightness and grace? Could she not, alone among all women, dance like a bird creeping for grains on the ground? Beautifully timed to the beat of the gangsas? Did not the men praise her supple body, and the women envy the way she stretched her hands like the wings of the mountain eagle, now and then as she danced? How long ago did she dance at their own wedding? Tonight, all the women who counted, who once danced in her honor, were dancing now in honor of another whose only claim was that Perhaps she could give her husband a child.